What is going on? It is James, aka the Comic Raider, back again. Another midnight release of Raiders Rants. This time we're going to go over Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So I took some notes. They're not in order, so I will go through this. My non-spoiler review is going to be that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. I think it was good. This is beginning of phase 5, right? I'm gonna be honest, I've lost a lot of I don't want to say hope for like Marvel and MCU, but I guess interest. I've lost a little bit of interest, so I'm not even like, oh, is this phase 4, is this phase 5? But I believe this is the start of phase 5, so it's off to a good start. Better than most of what came out in phase 4. So Ant-Man for me, so my non-spoiler review is, it's good. It's led by great visuals. It's led by Kang. I mean, Kang's number one, that's obvious. So it's led by Kang. That's the number one thing. Visuals are really cool. I thought that the action scenes were pretty cool, especially towards the end. It does have a little bit of a slow start, ends kind of strong. The story's kind of like you've seen it before if you've seen a lot of sci-fi movies and stuff, but overall I still think it's enjoyable, and like I said, I think it's better than most of the MCU that we've gotten recently. Like, I'm not gonna go rush out to watch it again in theaters as I would with some of the other movies, but I will definitely watch it again, which is more than I can say for some of the other movies. Like, I haven't seen Doctor Strange since Doctor Strange came out. Spider-Man I've seen a few times. So that's kind of like my grade level there. Is like, I am going to watch this again. I do look forward to watching it again, but I'm not sitting here like, I have to go back tomorrow and see this shit in theaters again. And I think that's the difference there. But like I said, still good, still enjoyable. I do, recommend that you check it out. So now we're gonna get into spoilers. I thought it's basically sci-fi meets the MCU, which I don't really think we've seen before, which is kind of cool. So I did enjoy it from that aspect. I don't have a huge background in sci-fi type movies, but I sat back going, this is kind of like Star Wars-ish, and hopefully that's not blasphemous to some people. Or maybe there's another movie that it better relates to sci-fi wise, but it just felt like you've kind of seen this story before. People end up on a strange planet. This isn't a planet, this is the quantum realm, but people end up on a strange planet. They are introduced to all kinds of strange creatures and beings. It, of course, eventually starts off with hostility because they're outsiders, and then it leads to them forming together and then fighting a cause. Like, that's a formula we've seen quite a few times, and that's definitely a formula that we've seen in sci-fi movies. So, very Star Wars-esque. I thought it was like Star Wars meets Bug's Life, because there's definitely scenes where, like, the ants, well, no, Ant-Man, a bunch of Ant-Mans come together and kind of create this little tunnel leading him up, and that was like hella Bug's Life right there. Or actually, no, the movie Ants. I'm sorry, there was a movie Ants. That was a good movie too. But yeah, so definitely like Star Wars mixed with Bug's Life and Ants kind of vibes. But I still think, even with the Star Wars vibes, I thought that the world was really cool. I mean, that's something that Marvel does really well. When we got introduced to Wakanda for the first time, being introduced to Namor's world in the second Black Panther. In the one that Thor went to in his last movie, even though that was a terrible movie, but when they went to like where all the gods are, and Zeus and all that kind of stuff. Like, they do a great job of building these worlds, and it was visually an awesome movie. The different scenes, how it looks like space, but you can tell that they're in the quantum realm, and everything's like small and large, and like all that was really cool. So visually, great movie. I did see it in IMAX. To me, that's kind of the way to go. I know I haven't seen a movie in 3D in years. I wear glasses. We're putting 3D glasses over regular glasses is very uncomfortable, and I just didn't really think that it was necessary. So I don't have a 3D review, but I will say in IMAX, it's definitely worth it, um, even just for the visuals that you're gonna get. Um, as far as story wise, I already kind of went over the gist of it. As far as like that's the whole first half of the story, and then the second half, uh, it is a slow start, and then the second half is the introduction to Kang and what he's about, why he's there, why he's trying to get out, or how this all intertwines together. And once it gets to that point, it's really good. I thought that the first half is a little slow. It's a bit comedy driven. Still good. It's okay. I will say I'm not. The first half spent like, and I'm saying half. It might not even be half. It might be like the first 1/3 of the movie. But there's like this huge thing of everybody on the planet, everybody in the quantum realm, when they find Scott and Cassie. Scott and Cassie is like, him, and he's gonna be looking for you, and then Janet, Michelle Pfeiffer, is like keeping a big secret of him and referring to him, and then the Wasp, I forgot her first name, Hope is like, who are you so afraid of? And like, they just keep referring to Kang very vaguely, and doesn't really hold as much weight when you already know that Kang is the main villain in the movie. So it's kind of like wasted to me. It's like, okay, it caught my attention. Like, dude, we're saying he and him and referring to this person like hella times. We already know who the fuck it is. Like, I don't really think that this is accomplishing much. So let's just get to the part where Kang is here. And that's kind of how I felt. But yeah, so then Janet, and you get the whole backstory of how Janet was there. She meets Kang, and then she helps Kang rebuild his ship. And upon rebuilding his ship, she finds out who he really is, and then she destroys the engine core, the multiverse core that powers his ship, and so he's stuck there. And then she fights against him, and then she ends up getting rescued, and she dips the hell out. So everybody in the quantum realm hates her because they feel like she helped create this monster. Because once they did create the core, he also got his suit back and his powers back. And then even though she destroyed the core, all she really did was keep him from being able to leap. But he's still Kang in that quantum realm with all the powers and everything. He just can't escape. So everybody there pretty much hates her. And finds her responsible for creating him and then dipping off. And so then the second half is basically him trying to get Ant-Man to get him that core back, and then you have the whole do we do this or not kind of thing. And so I mean it's cool. It's a very basic story, and like I said, the whole like first half is definitely all just sci-fi driven, and you've seen this story before. So story wise, didn't really do anything crazy. Where the movie is carried is in the acting and the characters. Ant-Man, this is now the third movie, so you know what Ant-Man's about. You know what Hope and all them. You already know about all them. Yes, Cassie plays a much bigger role in this one. I'm sure a lot of you know this, but for those of you who don't, I have to mention that It's the same girl from Paranormal Activity 3, which I thought was kind of cool. Um, but anyways, uh, yeah. So the characters definitely carry it. Kang, of course, being the main one. Jonathan Majors as Kang is absolutely top notch. The acting wise, the believability, and just how badass he is and ruthless he is. I love it. I thought that Ant-Man was really good. It was not. It does have some comedy, but it's not like Thor over the top comedy. Um, and I thought that when he has to be Ant-Man, when Scott has to be Ant-Man, I thought that this movie did a really good job of like his he's grown into these powers a lot better. He's able to fight better than everybody else as Ant-Man with the suit, with the abilities. He's kind of, honed them in, and so he's able to do things and do moves and combos when he's fighting that are really, really cool. And so I did appreciate that. I thought that he's taken the leap. And so yeah, so character wise, I thought it was really good. I liked that Michelle Pfeiffer plays Janet really well because you're frustrated with her. Why is she keeping all of this a secret? Why is she not telling her family what's going on? And then it's because she's just that freaking afraid, and she's also ashamed that she kind of feels responsible for what she did, helping gain him his powers and then leaving everybody to die. So I thought that character wise it was really good. I think that the fighting was cool too, from one-on-one fights to battles. The ending has a huge battle scene between all the people in the quantum realm fighting against Kang, and then eventually an ant swarm coming in. And so I just thought all of that was done really well. I did enjoy the fighting, and then I enjoyed the one-on-one fights. I enjoyed the fist fighting, that especially between Kang and Ant-Man, and them, and even when they were using their powers earlier, I did enjoy all of that kind of stuff. Comedy I think was good, but not like crazy over the top. Thought it was well timed. MODOK, a character I'm not super familiar with. I mean, I know who he is. I know that it's not the original origin story, as far as it's not Yellow Jacket's character. But I don't mind it, and I think that it's played off well in the movie, and I really just don't mind it. But I also come from the background of, I have never really read a lot of Ant-Man. I've never read anything with MODOK. Um, I've read some stuff with Kang, but nothing crazy. And so yeah, so I kind of have a fresh perspective on all this stuff. So it doesn't bother me as much, I think, now that I've seen the movie, that it's not the original MODOK, because it serves its purpose. Um, and I thought it was cool, and then he's definitely got a lot of he plays into the comedy a bit too, which is fine. And I think there's a mid credit and an end credit. What I liked about it is previous Marvel movies, they've been running this track record. So, like, old Marvel was your end credit was basically an end credit that led you to the next movie coming out, right? And typically we didn't really know who that might be. Now, of course, with the internet, you know what's coming. But I haven't liked that recently end credits have not done anything to really progress the story forward. They're just like, they're basically just a deleted scene that makes it into the end credit. And then the last one, so like that's the mid credit, and then the last one has really been a comedy scene that I can remember. It's been a comedy scene to end it. The mid one kind of sets up something future, but nothing groundbreaking where you're like, oh, hell yes, this is what's coming. This one, I didn't have that hell yes reaction, but the mid credit is basically all the versions of Kang together, including the original Pharaoh one from Fantastic whatever it was when he made his first appearance. Um, Again, like I said, I haven't really read much with them, so But there's that one. There's like a future one, and then there was a third one that I don't know what it is. So that's what's kind of cool for me is now I get to research what all these different versions are. But anyways, yeah, the mid credit is basically all these versions together, and I'm assuming setting up for what's eventually going to be Avengers Kang Dynasty, and looking like they're going to have to fight multiple. And then the final end credit, which again I was expecting a comedy scene, ended up being Loki and Owen Wilson's character, and they're sitting watching a show like shit back in the, I don't know, 1940s, maybe a presentation being given by a version of Kang, Victor Timely, I believe it was. So that was cool because it was a setup now for the Loki TV show, and you got more Kang, even though the mid credit was already more Kang. So better end credits than most previous movies that we've seen in Phase 4. So I do appreciate that. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what I got. The things I liked and the things I didn't. It's basically, like I said, it's story-wise, you've kind of seen it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's the characters are awesome. I did enjoy the fighting. I did enjoy the battling, and it's of course I know everybody is saying it. This is nothing original, but it is led by Kang, and he is awesome. He is, I think, what we've been missing, what MCU has been missing for a while. I did like Namor, but yeah, yeah, he was that damn good. I loved it. I loved it. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. I don't know that there's anything else. I know that it's getting a lot of. I haven't seen any reviews. I try not to look at other people's reviews because I don't want other people's opinions to start to wear off on me. I try to just give my. This is my raw emotion coming straight out of the theater. But I saw that a lot of. I think it got certified rotten or something like that. I saw, and then like a lot of people were giving it a very mid grade. I don't know that it's mid grade. I'm gonna say like 6.5 maybe. I mean, I guess that is kind of mid grade, but to me that's more like 5.0, 4.5. I'm going like 6.5, maybe 7, just because I like Kang so much. Yeah, I'm probably around that, maybe like 7. I could settle on 7 or 6.57, whatever. Anyways, it's not as bad as I think some people are saying. I'm definitely looking forward to talking to people now and reading reviews because I am interested in what they saw that I didn't. Um, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think go check it out. It's better than pretty much everything I think we got in Phase 4. At least I think right now. Like, I mean, I loved Spider-Man, of course, but yeah, I thought it was cool. Excited to see where they go next. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is the next Marvel movie, so definitely excited for that. That should be good. And then I don't even know what's next, to be honest, so we'll see. But yeah, that's all I got. I know this is going to be a movie that a lot of people watch, so please comment below. Let me know what you thought of it. Did you think it was trash? Do you think it's just mid? Do you think it was awesome? I mean, I definitely want to know. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on Kang, because of course he's the star of the show. But yeah, that's all. Anyways, Comic Raider signing out. Stay safe. Deuces.